Hello everyone. In today's session, we'll be discussing about MEMS of biomedical applications. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss now. Introduction, approaches, biomems as miniature biosensors, devices, applications of biomems in medical implants and surgery, future technologies, summary and references. So first of all, we need to know what is MEMS. MEMS stands for Micro Electromechanical Systems. It is a technique which combines electrical and mechanical components together on a chip to produce a system of miniature dimension. Miniature dimension in the sense the diameter or the dimension of the MEM device will have a diameter less than the dimension or diameter of the human hair. So next we'll see about the introduction of biomems. Biomems is an abbreviation for biomedical microelectromechanical systems. It is considered synonymous with lab on chips and micro total analysis system. It is typically focused on mechanical parts and microfabrication technologies, which is very suitable for biological applications. MEMS combine material sciences, clinical sciences, electrical engineering, optical engineering, and biomedical engineering. Some of its major applications include molecular diagnostics, point of care diagnostics, tissue engineering, etc. So we'll see the benefits of MEMS in medical applications. First and foremost benefit of MEMS are small volume of samples like blood required for analysis. It consumes less power, hence the life of the battery goes for longer time period. When MEMS are used for the patients, since it is less invasive, it is very less painful. And the integration of MEMS permits a large number of systems to be built on a single chip. And cost wise also, it is cheaper than the conventional medical devices. And for developing MEMS devices, existing IC technology can be used. Since silicon is used in most of the MEMS devices, interferes lesser with body tissues. So this is actually the Venn diagram, just outlining and contrasting some aspects of fields of biomems. So this picture clearly explains the role of MEMS in medical technologies. Next we'll see about the approaches. We'll first discuss about the materials which are used for developing MEMS. First is the silicon and glass. So as far as the conventional method, micro machining techniques such as wet etching, dry etching, deep reactive ion etching, sputtering, anodic bonding are being used. Due to being single use only, larger than their MEMS counterparts, and the requirement of clean room facilities, high material and processing cost make silicon biomems less economically attractive. Second is the plastics and polymers. Using plastics and polymers in biomems, it is very attractive because they can be easily fabricated and it is also compatible with rapid prototyping methods and the cost also goes lower. Many polymers are also optically transparent and can be integrated into systems. The most common polymers used are PMMA, PDMS, and SU8. Next, they are also using biological materials, microscale manipulation and patterning of biological materials such as proteins, cells and tissues have been used in the development arrays, microarrays, microfabrication based tissue engineering and artificial organs. Next is the paper. Paper microfluidics is the use of paper substrates in the microfabrication to manipulate fluid flow for different applications. Paper microfluidics can be used for commercial purpose. Advantage of using paper for microfluidics and electrophoresis in biomems includes its low cost, biodegradability, and natural wicking action. Next is the electrokinetics. Electrokinetics have been exploited in biomems for separating mixtures of molecules and cells using electrical fields. Electrophoresis has been used to fractionate small ions, charged organic molecules, proteins, and DNA. So, next is the microfluidics. Microfluidics refers to systems that manipulate small amount of fluids in the range of microliter, nanoliters, etc. on microfabricated substrates. Microfluidic approaches to biomems confer several advantages. Some of it are listed here. It is relatively economical due to batch fabrication and high throughput. It consumes smaller amounts of reagents which can be made to require only a small amount of analysis for chemical detection. Next, we'll see about biomems as miniaturized biosensors. Biosensors are nothing but devices that will have biological recognition system called the bioreceptor and a transducer. The most common bioreceptors used in biosensing are based on the antibody antigen interactions, nucleic acid interactions, enzymatic interaction, cellular interactions, etc. Common transducer techniques include mechanical detection, electrical detection, and optical detection. Next, we'll see about the type of biosensors. First type is the micromechanical sensors. Mechanical detection in biomems is achieved through micro and nanoscale cantilevers for stress sensing and mass sensing. In stress sensing, the biochemical reaction is performed selectively on one side of the cantilever to cause change in surface free energy. Next is the electrical and electrochemical sensors. Electrical and electrochemical detection are easily adapted for portability and miniaturization, especially in comparison to optical detection. Conductive measurements are simple and easy to use because there is no need for specific reference electrode and have been used to detect biochemicals, toxins, nucleic acids, and bacterial cells. Next comes the optical sensors. A challenge in optical detection is the need for integrating detectors and photodiodes in a miniaturized portable format on the biomems. Optical detection includes fluorescence based techniques and surface plasmon resonance. SPR is the resonant oscillation of conduction electrons at the interface between a negative and positive permittivity material stimulated by incident light. SPR is the basis of many standard tools for measuring adsorption of material onto planar metal surfaces or onto the surface of metal nanoparticles. So the reasons for miniaturization is as follows. In general, the use of micro and nanoscale detection technologies are justified by the following points. Number one, reducing the sensor element to the scale of target species and hence providing a higher sensitivity, reduced reagent volumes and associated cost, point of care diagnostic, multi-agent detection capability, potential for use in vitro as well as in vivo. Next, we'll be seeing about the types of devices. First type is transdermal devices. As opposed into vivo devices, transdermal devices deliver the drug through the skin. Unfortunately, due to the nature of skin, this technique only works on small molecules. Thus, passive transdermal devices are minimally invasive but are often not very effective. The device can be activated in several different ways. It can be activated by remote control, giving control to the doctor or the patient. It can be activated on a set time basis. Some devices are even automatically triggered by sensors built into the device that detect when the drug needs to be administered. Now we'll see about the application of biomems. First is the genomic and proteomic microarrays. Oligonucleotide chips are microarrays of oligonucleotides. They can be used for detection of mutations and expression monitoring and gene discovery and mapping. Next is the cDNA microarray. cDNA microarrays are often used for large-scale screening and expression studies. For detection, fluorescently labeled single-strand cDNA from cells hybridized to the molecules on the microarray, and a differential comparison between a treated sample and an untreated sample, which is used for the analysis. Red dots mean that the corresponding gene was expressed at a higher level in the treated sample. Conversely, green dots mean that the corresponding gene was expressed at a higher level in the untreated sample. Yellow dots, as a result of overlap between red and green dots, mean that the corresponding gene was expressed at relatively the same level in both samples, whereas dark spots indicate no or negligible expression in either sample. Next is the PCR chips. It is a fundamental molecular biology technique that enables the selective amplification of DNA sequences, which is usually for expanded use of rare samples. Example, circulating tumor cells, stem cells, etc. Next is the point of care diagnostic devices. The ability to perform medical diagnosis at the bedside or at the point of care is important in healthcare, especially in developing countries. To this end, point of care diagnostic biomems have been developed to take saliva, blood, or urine samples and in an integrated approach perform sample preconditioning, sample fractionation, signal amplification, etc. Next, we'll see how MEM devices really replace the existing medical devices. So, there are a lot of medical devices which have been recently developed, which are more sensitive and stronger than the conventional ones. So, as far as the market trends, MEMS are having a higher future ahead. Now, we'll see how MEMS are used in the field of endoscopy. So, what is endoscopy? It is nothing but a procedure in which we usually examine the smaller or larger intestine, for example. So, in a conventional method of endoscopy, what happens is the patient requires sedation and it becomes a complicated process. So, when MEMS are used in endoscopy process, it is done with a method called lab on a pill or a magic pill. The magic pill's dimension is 35 mm and the components of lab on a pill consist of digital camera, light source, battery, radio transmitter and sensors. Some of the advantages of MEMS in endoscopy are it requires no sedation, it can show a view of the entire small intestine, and it can aid in early detection of colon cancer. So this is actually the picture representing the lab on pill or magic pill, which is extensively used for the endoscopy procedure. So we'll see how this magic pill works. So it is actually swallowed like any normal pill, and once when it enters the body, the pill will actually sensor the sample body fluids and pick up some meaningful parameters such as temperature, dissolved oxygen levels and pH level. The pill is expected to retrieve all data over a period of 12 hours and it is disposed once it is excreted. This data is transmitted wirelessly to a cord attached to the wrist of the individual. Next, we'll see the next application of biomems. It is extensively used in surgical tools. Present day, surgeons operate in a domain restricted by the mobility and control of the surgical tools at hand. MEMS surgical tools provide the flexibility and accuracy to perform the surgery in a precise manner. Now we'll see how it is used in the scalpels when a surgeon performs a surgery. So, precise control of the scalpel is an important requirement in any surgery. Scalpels are nothing but the knives used by the surgeon during surgery. MEMS piezoelectric motor help to accurately position the scalpel. MEMS pressure sensors incorporated on the scalpel can help to measure the force exerted on the area operated upon. Accordingly, the scalpel can be handled. Next is the micro or nano robots in medical field. These are micro or nano scale devices capable of treating and eliminating medical problems. Such problems may arise due to the accumulation of unwanted organic substances which interfere with the normal body functions such as tumor, life threatening blood clots, accumulation of scar tissue, arterial blockage, localized site of infections. Next, we'll see MEMS and drug delivery. MEMS microneedles. MEMS enables hundreds of hollow microneedles to be fabricated on a single patch of area, say a square centimeter. This patch is applied to the skin and drug is delivered to the body using micropumps. These micropumps can be electronically controlled to allow specific amount of drug and also deliver them at specific intervals. Microneedles are too small to reach and stimulate the nerve endings and hence cause no pain to the human body. Next comes the smart pill, a MEM device that can be implemented or implanted in the human body will have a biosensors, batteries, control circuitry, drug reservoirs. The biosensors sense the substance to be measured, say for example insulin. Once this quantity falls below a certain amount required by the body, the pill releases the drug. Next, we'll see some of the challenges for MEMS medical sensors. So, first challenge is the biocompatibility. Biocompatibility remains the biggest hurdle for MEMS medical devices. Next, the life of the devices is a question mark. Thirdly, retrieving data out of the device is a complex method. Finally, MEMS resist drifting along with the body fluids. Next is the future technology. The future of MEMS is integrally linked to market trends in general and driven by the increasing demand to monitor and control our environment and the equipment and instruments that we use in our daily lives. This demand does undoubtedly and lead to the need for more sensors in cars, more sensors in industrial equipments and installations, and more sensors for ambient intelligence. In order to avoid the need for a multitude of wires such as sensors must be self-sustaining and be able to communicate wirelessly. As a result, not only more sensors are needed but also small energy generating modules and wireless transmissions components are also required. There is also a tendency to explore more flexible and more affordable production technologies. This will be driven by the production research into typical low cost, large surface area devices like solar cell, displays, wearable electronics, and disposable diagnostic devices. Next, we come to the summary and the conclusion. MEMS are a class of miniature devices and systems fabricated by micro machining processes. MEMS devices have critical dimensions in the range of 100 nanometer to 1000 micrometer or 1 mm. MEMS technology is a precursor to the relatively more popular field of nanotechnology, which refers to science, engineering, and technology below 100 nanometer down to the atomic scale. Occasionally, MEMS devices with dimensions in the millimeter range are referred to as mesoscale MEMS devices. As drug delivery systems improve, the components of the systems continue to decrease in size. Many of the future and developing technologies are based on the nanoscale. These nanoparticles are particularly useful when a drug must target certain areas of the human body. So, these are some of the references from which the presentation was presented. I hope the session was informative. Thank you.